the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio. Great start, Colton Herta.
Colton Herta, great jump. Graham Rahal able to go in line with him, but on the outside there, Alex Palou trying to make a move. He's around Kyle Kirkwood, who's now coming back on the outside of 5.
Kirkwood to the outside. He'll have the advantage at the next apex. That pink Auto Nation car forcefully holding on to third as Marcus Ericsson and Felix Rosenqvist come together.
The two Swedish drivers collide, and that is not a great opening lap here at Mid-Ohio for the Chip Ganassi racer and the McLaren man. Yellow is out.
Side by side through turn 9 as the yellow flag comes out. I'm not sure if, Felix is beached there. I think we saw Marcus able to carry on, but the number 6 NTT car, oh no, he did not make it. Both cars out on the spot.
Ericsson was also very aggressive on the start going into turn 4. He went upside Will Power and Scott McLaughlin.
It's something from Ericsson saying something about broken. Let's check the replay on the opening lap. Here's what went down, or went up.
Do you see Ericsson there on the inside of turn 6? Yeah, he was just wide. I mean, Felix gave him room, it looked like, on the inside, missed the apex a bit. You know what it's like down there, green racetrack. It's so easy to understeer. It's so hard to get the car turned back to the right, get down to that apex as you're going downhill.
Another shot of Ericsson. Yeah, he's just wide on turn-in. I just think he must have misjudged where he was relative to Rosenqvist, the gap. I mean, it was a car width, almost 2 car widths could be squeezed through here. On board now with Rosenqvist.
You're going to look to, there's Ericsson. Now watch to the right, keep watching to the right.
So Felix knows he's there. He gives him lots of room. You see, he's on the outside of Scott McLaughlin completely. Yeah, I mean, we've seen some contact with the aeroscreen before. I'm not sure we've ever seen something quite like that when a tire left a giant mark right in the driver's field of view.
All right, we're getting ready to go green out of the last turn. Here we go, and Kyle Kirkwood is sizing up. Look at that pink car. He's sizing up Graham Rahal through turn 1, the resurfaced turn 1, climbing the hill to the keyhole in turn 2. Colton Herta leads the field back to green.
And behind him, you see David Malukas looking down the back of, I believe that's Scott McLaughlin in that Good Rancher Chevy. Malukas has gotten ahead of Will Power as one of the McLarens
Alexander Rossi getting wide. Roman Grosjean in that yellow and red DHL car makes the move, but now Rossi has a run, but Joseph Newgarden in the train looking to make it happen.
Check this out, could go 3 wide. Newgarden says, no way, I don't want any part of that. Rossi says, game on, and Grosjean holds the position.
Rossi and Grosjean on Mid-Ohio, we've seen this one before, Townsend.
Just a tiny little fade from Grosjean to make it harder on Rossi. What a move from Newgarden. No, he can't hold on.
It's just so little grip on the outside there, especially after the rain, but he's using those red sidewalled Firestones, a little softer, a little more grip compared to the primary black sidewall that Rossi's got. He's trying to use that grip on the outside of 6, not quite enough.
That grip advantage will likely be mitigated at some point during this stint. We call it the crossover point, where the softer red tire starts to degrade and goes past the grip available from the harder black Firestone. We think that might happen around lap 15 to 20. We'll have to stay tuned and see where exactly it plays out.
A couple of Scots from New Zealand running together there. Scott Dixon in the orange and blue PNC Bank car, and there's the defending race winner, Scott McLaughlin, right behind him in the Good Ranchers Chevy for Team Penske. They're all excited about countryman Shane Van Gisbergen in the Grant Park 220, the NASCAR Cup Series race in Chicago this weekend. And look at this, Graham Rahal isn't just sitting in second, he's pressing for the lead.
Yeah, all these top 3 cars on the same tire compound right now. A little bit of a line variation down into the valley here as they come up and over a blind section. You really can't see the racetrack as you come up over the hill, and this is one of the trickiest corners on the track. Big step off at the exit and up through the gears. Super fast corner here. This left-hander, you'll pick up some aero push running in traffic. And for Graham Rahal, I can tell already he's got the best race car, both in qualifying and race trim, that he's had in a long time.
As we see some action further back, that side-by-side, Joseph Newgarden on the inside, Pato O'Ward trying to continue his charge up the field, trying to make it work on the outside of the keyhole. That's a tough one to pull off.
Oh, here we go.
Series champion, and side-by-side for third, Kyle Kirkwood in.
Look at that, Alex Palou, championship leader, and Kyle Kirkwood defends from the championship points leader.
We are at the crossover point on the tires. Alex Palou on the harder black compound, Kyle Kirkwood on the softer tire. Kirkwood has had the advantage, but no longer. Remember, he's teammates to Colton Herta, so if Colton is feeling the fall off on his reds, so is Kyle Kirkwood most likely, and Alex Palou knows this is the time to press.
There's been a change within the top three. Very hard fight between this man here, Kyle Kirkwood, in the Auto Nation Honda for Andretti Autosport, and the points leader, Alex Palou. Down the back straight into turn 4. Let's show you again. Palou on the right in the blue and white American Legion machine. Watch Kirkwood on the inside.
Tough to tell from this angle how much room Alex Palou gave Kyle Kirkwood. It didn't look like a lot when we saw it live just a few minutes ago. Kyle Kirkwood's been hanging on to the back of his race car. Here's on board with Kirkwood. Just enough. Left him just enough room, but Kyle had to run the apex curb higher and harder than he normally would, and I think that contributed to turning around the Auto Nation car.
Here is Connor Daly running in the second Meyer Shank Honda, the Sirius XM Auto Nation machine, filling in for Simon Pagenaud. It's the first time ever in Simon Pagenaud's career he's been forced to miss an IndyCar race. He's done more than 200 IndyCar races in his career. Today, he was denied that by not being passed by IndyCar Medical after yesterday's big crash. Dylan Welsh.
Romain Grosjean at the top of your screen, and they took the red tires off. Grosjean did a nice job to pick up a few spots on those softer tires, made a front wing change, and Firestone primaries on. Kevin.
And Alexander Rossi gets out right in front of him with a better pit location, and Rossi is back out pitting from 11th.
Joseph Newgarden now trying to get around the slow starting. Oh, Romain Grosjean, his teammate Kyle Kirkwood trying to go through as well. It's so hard, Townsend, as a driver coming out of the pits on cold tires. You're trying to defend, but you can only do so much.
And Grosjean got a tough lesson on that last year, wheel banging with Alexander Rossi and forced off the track. Meanwhile, Newgarden charging into turn 4.
Check this out. Deep, they're close. Alexander Rossi and Joseph Newgarden, and Rossi left nothing there for Newgarden. And here comes Kirkwood putting the pressure on the PPG Chevy.
Watch Kirkwood try to cross it up here and go inside Newgarden up and over the hill. I don't think he's going to have enough to get the advantage. He's going to have to back out. You really can't go too wide right here.
Hitting this time is the race leader, the Gainbridge Honda of Colton Herta.
And remember, guys, Alex Palou still has to run a stint on those reds. So if they are a struggle, he may have closed that gap, but it might open back up once these two leaders get on the primaries.
But Alex Palou is doing the distance so he can shorten his red stint.
And now he's going to want to go. Graham Rahal stays out. This is where the overcut, undercut comes into play, guys.
This is not good for Palou. Palou would have loved if Graham Rahal followed Colton Herta, but Graham stays out. Palou's stuck in dirty air. He might be faster, but tough to get by at Mid-Ohio.
Whose call is going to be better, Andretti Autosports or Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan?
And they made a change on who makes those calls. Rob Edwards, as you mentioned, the third different strategist. He told me, we just want to experiment. We didn't want to try things. We have 4 poles as a team and only 1 win. Now it's 5 poles, and Colton Herta trying to convert that today.
I think we're hearing box call for Graham Rahal there. We'll see if he comes in. But for Alex Palou, he's not able to get the pace of clean air with Graham Rahal up front.
So Graham Rahal staying out an extra lap. He's going to be all over that push to pass button, trying to make this in lap as fast as possible, trying to close that half-second gap he had to Colton Herta. Likewise, Colton now has to be on the button, getting up to speed as quickly as possible. The overcut staying out a lap longer, trying to utilize those hot tires. The undercut trying to get into the pits, get those fresh tires on. And we're going to see in about 30 seconds here which one's the right call as Palou stays out. Now he needs to put the hammer down, try to get those clean laps on the primaries.
Dylan, the Team RLL guys haven't been put under this much pressure in a while. Here we go.
That's right, big stop here. Rahal's been much happier this weekend on the reds than the blacks, so really wanted to take advantage of that outlap to try and build as much gap as possible. Reds are off, sticker primary Firestone's on for Rahal, waiting on the fuel. We'll see where he blends.
How refreshing this must be for Graham Rahal, racing at the front of an IndyCar field. Where does he come out in comparison to Colton Herta?
Right now, you'll be racing him to the keyhole.
The words from Rob Edwards, you're going to be racing him to the keyhole. That race is on.
Graham's not going to be able to defend Colton Herta on hot tires as he goes sailing by.
Under brakes, does Rahal switch back? He can't.
Look at
Cold tires.
Look at how far up the road Palou Award has gotten there. That is amazing. Award right there with Rahal.
Think about it. They've all made one stop
Yes.
now and essentially passing for second here.
Wonder if Award's saving any fuel. Right now he's saving nothing. He wants second place.
Rahal's like, where did you come from? 25th, says Pato Award.
But if I'm on the radio to Graham Rahal, I'm saying, look, without a yellow, Pato's not in this race. You're not racing him. You're racing Colton Herta in front. Just let him go, get up to speed, put in the laps. The gap ends up about the same as the leader is in. Alex Palou down to Kevin.
And he's going to go to the red sidewall, the alternates. He's got to go around Christian Lundgaard's tires. He's coming in from second this lap. The driver is dominant as we've seen in a while. Last 4 races, nobody's been better. 3 wins. Alex Palou is back out. Let's see how much time he made up in that in-lap.
Boy, that fueler didn't have to fill as much as I thought. Palou is out and to the front easily.
That was a 2-second faster stop than what Graham Rahal had on the 15. Here comes Colton Herta at pace. He's got to get around Christian Lundgaard, who's also jumped the 26.
So that tells me that the reason Palou wasn't pressing that hard is he was saving fuel following Graham Rahal earlier to shorten the pit stop.
A little bit wide from Christian Lundgaard. Now a drag race down to turn 4. Colton Herta easily ahead. Pato Award's going to be on the button, trying to get around the RLL driver as well.
So Lundgaard has been able to leapfrog his teammate. Here comes Pato Award diving to the inside.
Decisive swerve from the young Mexican driver, and it's clear he is on a full press. If there's not a caution, they'll have to make 2 more stops to get to the end.
But you got to give him credit for the moves he's pulling off on track. We saw pace on him as we see Scott Dixon, Dylan, down in pit lane.
That's right, Scott Dixon in. He was the leader. They're going to go off of the alternate tires and put the reds on. Scott asked for a turn of front wing. They'll need a big out-lap here from Dixon.
There goes Will Power in the Verizon Chevy. Look at this mad scramble here. How does Dixon cycle out? Where does he cycle out in comparison to his teammate Alex Palou? Here we go.
Check out another guy that's been saving fuel. Scott Dixon is going to exit pit lane just ahead of Colton Herta. I don't know if he'll be able to hold him off, but Dixon and Power have position right now.
This is Power to Chip Ganassi Racing. How about that for a pit stop cycle?
So Power's going to give Colton Herta a little bit of a hard time in keyhole, but I don't think Dixon has tire temperature yet.
Back straight drag race. If he goes to the inside, Herta will swoop around the outside, and that's what's happening.
This is tough. You can pull it off on the outside here. It is banked. He's got a nice car length advantage. Easily done. Colton Herta had to make those moves happen.
What a handy bit of strategy from Chip Ganassi Racing and Team Penske to save the gas on the opening stint for this potential overcut opportunity.
That is Barry Wanza, and here he comes. Race leader is in for what should be the last stop of this race, the Honda Indy 200. Kevin Lee, the championship leaders coming your way.
And there was almost an obstacle. Marcus Ericsson and his crew was getting set to push that car back to the garage. They just went back to see if the car was repaired properly. Barry Wanzer was waving the team, get back out of the way. They did. Clean, easy stop for a driver trying to make it 4 wins in the last 5. When's the last time we saw a run like this? Palou with a chance to finish it off. He's out. Scott Dixon also making his final stop.
Mr. Mid-Ohio, who has to come all the way from the other end of pit lane. He's in the very first pit box on pit lane entry. Mr. Mid-Ohio has a shot of standing on the podium here today.
There's what you talked about, James Palou coming out behind DeFrancesco, but luckily DeFrancesco has been fast. His tires are hot. Palou still needs to get temperature, as does teammate Scott Dixon. But did you see the body language, guys, on the crew for the number 10?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a holiday out there going for 3 in a row. Absolutely no urgency, totally under control. Meanwhile, Roman Grosjean in the number 28 DHL car. Nice clean stop for the last one of the day.
Is the 06 of Elio Castro Neves, multi-time winner here in IndyCar competition at Mid-Ohio. Grosjean in the DHL Honda, he's sent for the final time. Jack Harvey just whips on by, so too does Rinus VeeKay. Here is Colton Herta.
Oh!
Now what we're going to watch here is where does Herta come out in relation to Scott Dixon? Because last time the two of them were on track, they were right together.
Herta almost lost it, Kevin, on pit entry. Maybe a little bit of a wet spot there.
So that gap that, because of traffic, got back down to 3.5 seconds was back up to 8 before Palou pitted. So it would take a massive in-lap and a difficult in-lap for Palou to make up this time. Primary Firestone, Shell Fuel, Colton Herta, who started on pole, trying to get his first win. Did he make up any time?
Here comes Scott Dixon. He'll be battling with Dixon as he comes up to the hill to the keyhole along with Christian Lundgaard.
Dixon at speed, the others building their speed. Dixon gets Lundgaard off his list straight away. But Herta has an advantage, so this might be a back straight duel down into turn 4. This is going to be epic.
Not for long. Those cold Firestones are tough to handle on the outlap. Dixon with the advantage. Both drivers will be on push to pass.
Herta's going to fight hard here, Hinch.
He's only got a 1-lap advantage heat-wise.
Penalty there. You got to drive through this time.
Oh,
Colton
Herta.
through this time.
We saw
Yeah, the pit lane speed button didn't work.
It's
Didn't
gone
touch it.
again. The chance of victory has gone again for Colton Herta. 2 races in succession. He started on the pole 2 races in a row. And the win is going to elude him again.
I just wonder in that big sideways moment entering pit lane if Colton was struggling to get his thumb as he was controlling his race car to hit the button as Will Power, Dylan, on pit lane.
They're off the reds onto the sticker primaries for the final time. Ron Rzucki, the strategist, said, push hard here on push to pass. We need a big in-lap and a big out-lap too.
Here comes Herta to serve his penalty. And it was right here that caused the penalty.
It sort of makes sense because we saw him have that big crossed-up moment. That was after where the pit lane pylons are. Let's take a look at it, Townsend.
That's Benjamin Peterson up front, so this is Colton's first pit lane entrance. Oh, he got his thumb there. Oh, he turned it. That's
No,
weird.
you see, he got
hit
his
it.
thumb there, but the lights didn't come on. Maybe he didn't push it enough. Maybe it didn't activate for some reason, but now he comes out right ahead.
It seems like he had a definitive button push to activate pit speed control.
13th place, he comes out in Hinch. 14th, actually 13th now. Let's talk more about it with Kevin Lee.
Well, this is at least the 3rd year in a row that they've had a fast car and are not going to get a result. 2 years ago, he started second, was second until the first stop when they had a 25-second stop with a fuel probe issue and then had more issues later on in the race. And then last year, there was more difficulty as well when he missed the code to be able to pit. So another issue for the 2016, Dylan.
Graham Rahal in. They went to, oh, he stalled. It went to slightly scuffed blacks, but it's not going to matter because Rahal stalls leaving. Actually was waiting on the left rear. You see it there. That's going to cost Rahal some more time.
Total disaster for the front row to start this race. Rahal and Herta both with huge issues on their final stop under green flag conditions. It is a tough, tough pill to swallow.
Oh, and you can see Graham in the cockpit, flicked his visor, was just furious. A day that started with so much promise has evaporated.
That'll put Graham back to 7th and maybe 8th here as Maluka shouldn't have trouble getting by unless he has to check up at the exit, which he does.
There's a lot of interest with the young driver from Chicago, David Malukas. Where is he going to be next year? Will it be at Dale Coyne or will it be with one of the larger racing organizations? Under brakes, turn 4. Rahal doesn't really have any say in that as Malukas sweeps around the outside.
So Rahal down to 8th, Herta down to 12th.
Crazy.
Both with excellent race cars and both with issues seemingly outside of their control.
Time to go through the field. We kick it off with Dylan Welsh.
And Will Power started 7th. He rides in the 4th spot right now. Feel like they have as good of a car this year as they had last year when he charged through the field from effectively last to 3rd. But Ron Rzucki, the strategist, said that's all relative. The field has gotten so much tighter and more competitive this year. We've got to find a way to just be better, and it starts in qualifying. Will felt like their qualifying effort hurt them a little bit, but they're making do running 4th right now, Kevin.
Right behind him is Christian Lundgaard, who's really effectively 4th, officially in 5th, but Palou Award still has to make one more stop, and this would equal the best finish of the season for Christian Lundgaard, who told me today the momentum for Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan is real, and one of the factors is Stefano Sordo, the technical director that came over from the Formula One world. As expected, it's taken a little while for his impact to pay dividends. He's really helping in the aerodynamics, Dylan.
And Scott McLaughlin rides behind him in the 6th spot on track right now. Been a fairly quiet day for them. I think they're kind of in the same boat as their teammate. Felt like they had a good enough race car to maybe go back-to-back here, but starting where they did in the 8th spot, it was going to be tough. Kyle Moyer admitted we need the guys in front of us to have problems. They haven't really had problems yet. He said, if we can finish top 5, I think that's a successful day. They're close to it right now. Behind him, how about a nice day and a nice run for David Malukas on back-to-back weeks. Didn't get the finish that they wanted at Road America, but he said earlier here this weekend that their start of their weekend at Road America was maybe their best weekend of the entire year, and as a result, team morale was high coming into this weekend. He had a top 10 here last year, his first in his career, on pace to deliver another one here as he rides in 7th. And Graham Rahal rides 8th, which I think he'll be disappointed with if that's where he ends up finishing. He said, you know, all right, my expectations throughout this entire process have never changed, even though we're faster this weekend than we've been all year. I expected to win every single weekend this year, so this one's going to hurt a little bit. The positives of this, he did say, look, we just want to have a good day here, finish it off, finish solid. They're going to do that with a top 10 finish potentially, Kevin.
Alexander Rossi in 9th. He'll slide up to 8th because Pato O'Ward is going to pit on this lap, and this would be the 6th consecutive top 10 for Alexander Rossi. I suspect he's not going to come away super happy at this point. I think they thought more considering how good the McLaren cars have been here, but it's still good progress in a new system. There you see O'Ward making that stop. It's the 3rd. They needed a caution to come at the right time to be able to take advantage of that pace that they've had, but the spin in qualifying is why O'Ward is just going to have to be satisfied from moving from his 25th starting position, maybe being able to settle for 11th, somewhere in that range.
Well, he's coming out right behind his teammate Alexander Rossi, but he is on the harder Firestone blacks. I'm a little surprised based on the issue he had in qualifying. I would think he's got sticker reds available.
Yeah, for sure he must. I mean, I don't think he burned through a couple new sets in warm-up. So yeah, a bit of a surprising move with only 16 laps to go. He must have just preferred the balance on this set of tires.
But if he can hang on for a few corners, Diff, he will be 9th in the running order and with a chance to maybe press his teammate Alexander Rossi and go a couple positions better.
Here's Pato O'Ward on his teammate.
Wow.
He said this may have happened when those tyres got up to temp. He goes by Alexander Rossi, so that puts O'Ward from 25th up to 8th place with just 12 laps to go.
Absolute drive of the day. Pato O'Ward making the 3-stop strategy work. Now he's got to get by Peterson and Ferrucci, and then he might have a shot to close the gap on the next driver up the road, Graham Rahal. Full 7 seconds.
We're trying to get help from Chevy.
I bet Alexander Rossi is on a growing list of drivers very frustrated with Benjamin Peterson. He's already a lap down to the leader. If a yellow comes up now, he's got nothing to gain, but he is driving like it's for his life, defending against lead lap cars. That is just not something you need to be doing at this stage of the race.
Brian Barnhart came on the radio, strategist for Alexander Rossi, saying we're trying to get help from Chevy. That's like kind of going to mom and saying, hey, can you please tell my brother to get along?
They don't. You know what to do, man.
Here we go, back straight, he'll have a shot here. How much push to pass has he got left? Of the 200 seconds, O'Ward's got 20 left. This
Peterson is not cooperating for whatever reason, but just do what you can do, make it pass.
He got by him. Big screen was on Rossi. Small screen down the bottom was live on Peterson, so he's cleared him.
O'Ward got by with a message. Here's the move O'Ward made on Rossi.
Peterson out of push to pass now. That's how O'Ward was able to clear him so easily, but a great move, textbook from Pato O'Ward getting around his teammate. But yeah, that one's going to sting. There's going to be some interesting conversations, I think.
It just doesn't make any sense because even if a yellow came out for Peterson, he's going to get pushed to the back by IndyCar rules so that the lead car guys go to the front. So I just don't get it.
Riding on board with Auto Nation here in Grosjean through turn 9. Big wiggle from Dev up front there. Only 4 laps to go. Joseph Newgarden looking now on the inside of 11. This is not a place you pass.
Slight little kiss there.
Oh, this is a tough move to make on the outside of the final corner.
Teammate on teammate here. Grosjean's going to try and bulldoze his way through. Contact again with Di Francesco. Here comes VK. VK!
Whoa! That's 150 miles an hour with wheel banging going on for Rinus VK. Now Kyle Kirkwood's ready to party.
Trying to pick up the pieces from this little squabble here into turn 1. Contact there. Elbows out with a handful of laps to go.
They're not afraid to mix it up here at the end of this one. Let Callum Ilott join in the fun.
Newgarden looked at his mirror.
just ran me off the road, extra 2.
Kyle Kirkwood.
Here comes Ilott. Hook goes Hollinger Chevy. Kirkwood defends one side to the other. The British driver looks for the inside line up the hill. Can't get it done. Now he will switch lines. It's tough to make a pass through here.
I think Newgarden passed Di Francesco more out of the fact that he was looking in his mirror thinking, Grosjean's going to lose his patience here. I'm going forward.
Dev had a big moment coming out of turn 9. Just like that, actually.
Yeah.
That's what sort of opened the door. But then side by side, through 11 here. That would have put Dev on the dirty side. Lots of dirt on his tires as he goes side by side with Grosjean.
There's one touch with Grosjean, just a brush.
There's more to come.
Here comes the second one.
You see, Newgarden got it totally wrong coming out of 13.
Look at VK, how brave. 3 wide on the outside into turn 1.
Couldn't quite pull it off, and then Kirkwood trying to just pick up the pieces here.
If we stay with this, well, Kirkwood was complaining he got pushed off in turn 2.
It's a huge oversteer moment from Newgarden. So Dev's trying to stay out of Newgarden, crowding Grosjean on the inside, and then hip checks VK into 1. Man, that was manic. As look at the live pictures, Grosjean trying on the outside of Devlin DiFrancesco into turn 4. He's got it done.
By the way, we're not talking about scrapping over a podium spot. This is back in 13th, 14th, 15th, etc. IndyCar drivers fight hard, and 2 laps to go here at Mid-Ohio. 3rd place, Will Power. 4th place, Christian Lundgaard. That would be a season best equaling finish if he can hold off this man here in the 33s. Scott McLaughlin, the defending race winner. He won't defend that win. It's too tough. There's too big a gap. He's 20 seconds behind Alex Palou.
McLaughlin has 10 seconds more push to pass with a lap and a half to go over Christian Lundgaard, so he can start to use that button liberally and see if he can make something happen.
Thinking back to the head of this field again, I've been watching the gap between Palou and Dixon start to fall down. I was impressed with how much he had broken out from Scott Dixon, a 6-time winner here, and then I thought, oh, it's because he's caught some traffic. Who has he caught?
Last lap.
He has caught Connor Daly, who is nose to tail with Ryan Hunter-Reay in the car that he was driving only 2 races ago.
He would definitely like to get ahead of that 20. You saw the white flag. There's just 2.25 miles to go for Alex Palou. Meanwhile, outside the top 10, the gloves are still off. There has been some hard racing. Rinus VK.
This might be enough for VK if he doesn't get pushed wide, but no, he does. DiFrancesco, pretty clever, taking away the option for Rinus VK. Meanwhile, Kirkwood ready to pounce.
And don't forget, Callum Ilott right behind Kirkwood goes by now into 9. Brave move there. Kirkwood had some sort of issue, I think.
So Alex Palou is guiding the American Legion Honda home. It's going to give Chip Ganassi Racing its 12th victory here at Mid-Ohio. That ties Team Penske for the most of any racing organization here. It gives Alex his 4th win on the season. More importantly, 3 in a row. Hello, Palou. Alex does it again. Extends his championship lead and wins here at Mid-Ohio.
3 in a row, let's go! Woo! Thank you, boys.
Here he is, Alex Palou, winner at Mid-Ohio.
American Legion's Be the One program. Alex Palou is definitely the one. 3 straight, first since Dixon in 20. You mentioned the Pagano run in 16, 4 of the last 5, and the championship lead is over 100 now. Going back to his win at Laguna Seca last year, that's 10 straight in the top 8 or better for Alex Palou, who wants to greet the entire Chip Ganassi Racing Honda program. Celebrating with Julian Robertson, his engineer. Barry Wanzer is down here, the entire crew. He took over the lead after the first pit stop, and no one was able to challenge him the rest of the way. So what was the difference of this one today, Alex?
Having a good car and good strategy. Honestly, we had a really fast car. We knew we needed to try something different to the guys that are starting up front. That's why we started on primaries. Everything went well, strategy, pit stops, and our pace was really good. So yeah, super happy.
You said this week you've not really been dominating. You're just maximizing, taking advantage of the points opportunities. Would you rephrase that? Would you rethink that? Are you really not dominating this championship right now?
I think maybe we're starting to, but honestly, no, we're not. It's really tight, as you can see. It's all about putting everything together. We've been able to do this quite often this year, and hopefully we can keep it going. But yeah, honestly, we've not been the fastest on all practices or qualifying, just on the race. So yeah, that's what it matters.
The last 5 races, nobody's been better than you. You probably could have, should have won the Indy 500. Have you ever had any kind of run like this at any time in anything in your life?
Yeah, probably on the simulator on iRacing, but yeah, part of that, no. This is the best moment of my career so far.
I know you'll downplay this and say the championship is not over. Let's look outside of you and what your competitors are thinking at this point. Would they say this guy's going to be very difficult to catch?
I don't know. You can ask them. We'll focus on what we can do. I know we can have some good couple of races coming up now, and we'll try and still maximize and do the best we can, try and win when we can. So yeah, try and get that number 10 American Legion up top.
Number 4 this season, 3 in a row for Alex Palou.
Watch the Honda Indy Toronto, Sunday, July 16th at 1:30 p.m. on Peacock Premium.